across the stars, through your speakers. It's the podcast that's more unpredictable than a quantum quasar in a time loop. It's the Intergalactic Insider, where we bring you news faster than a tachyon-powered gossip chain. Greetings, sentients! Whether you're experiencing dawn, dusk, or the eternal void of a black hole, I'm your host, Felix Andromeda, broadcasting from the Galactic News Network studios on Proxima Centauri b. And let me tell you, I'm tingling with excitement for today's show. Before we dive in, a quick reminder from our sponsors at Nebula Cola. Quench your thirst across all 11 dimensions. Now with 20% more antimatter. Remember folks, Nebula Cola is not responsible for any spontaneous molecular disintegration. Drink responsibly. Now, hold on to your gravity boots, because today's episode is more packed than a Martian sardine tin. We've got a fascinating interview with Narla Bzultr, a Zenzian archaeologist who's been digging up more dirt than a Venusian dust devil on the ancient ruins of Zilaf 3. Plus, our Human Corner segment, where Narla turns the tables and asks about humanity's strangest quirks. Trust me, it's more revealing than a naked singularity. And of course, we'll wrap up with our fan-favorite weather report. I hear Zephyr's got himself stuck in a time storm again. Classic Zephyr. But first, let's check in with our resident temporal troublemaker. Professor Cosmos, are you there?
Felix, my boy, you won't believe where I am right now. I'm witnessing the birth of the Andromeda Galaxy. It's absolutely...
Professor, that's fascinating, but we're about to start the show. Can you make it back to the present?
Oh, righto. Just let me adjust my chrono compass and... I'm back. Did I miss anything in the last 13 billion years?
Just another Tuesday in the cosmos, Professor. Glad to have you back in our epoch. Now, dear listeners, a brief disclaimer. Side effects of tuning into the Intergalactic Insider may include uncontrollable laughter, sudden cravings for exotic alien cuisines, and the inexplicable urge to adopt a pet black hole. We are not liable for any temporal paradoxes or spontaneous evolution into higher beings of pure energy. And now it's time for our Cosmic Conundrum of the Week. Neural net users, get ready to fire up those synapses. This week's burning question: if a Lockstonian shapeshifter disguised itself as a black hole, would it still emit Hawking radiation? Cast your votes now using thought pattern Alpha 9. And don't worry, non-neural listeners, you can still participate by sending gravitational waves to our studio. Stay tuned, Space Cats and Cosmic Canines. Up next, we'll be chatting with Narla Bzultr about her groundbreaking discoveries on Zilaf 3. And remember, in space, everyone can hear you stream. The Intergalactic Insider. Welcome back, Cosmic Connoisseurs. It's time for our main event, and boy, do we have a treat for you today. Joining us from the dusty ruins of Zilaf 3 is the galaxy's premier tentacled archaeologist, the one, the only, Narla Bzultr. Narla, thanks for beaming in. How's the reception out there in the cosmic boonies?
Thanks for having me, Felix. The reception's clearer than a crystalline sky. Though I must say, it's a welcome break from the constant hum of our excavation drones.
Glad to hear it. Now, before we dig into your groundbreaking work, see what I did there? Let's start with you. For our listeners who might not be familiar with Zenzian culture, could you give us a quick primer? What should we know about your species that doesn't show up in the Galactic Encyclopedia?
Well, Felix, contrary to popular belief, We Zenzians aren't actually related to Earth's Octopi, despite our tentacles. We're a symbiotic species. Each Zenzian is actually a colony of thousands of microorganisms working in perfect harmony. It's why we excel at multitasking.
Fascinating. So when you wave to someone, it's more like a Mexican wave on a microscopic scale.
Exactly. And it makes for some interesting childhood experiences. Growing up on Zenzia was like being part of one big planet-wide family reunion, all the time.
Speaking of childhood, what was it like growing up on Zenzia? Did you play hide and seek in gelatinous clouds, or was it more of a don't let the floor dissolve you kind of situation?
Oh, it was wonderful, Felix. Zenzia is a gas giant, so we lived in floating cities high in the atmosphere. As children, we'd often race through the colorful vapor streams, playing what you might call current surfing. But my favorite pastime was visiting the ancestral archives, massive libraries storing the collective memories of our species.
Ancestral archives? That sounds like a historian's dream come true. Or a teenager's nightmare if they contain embarrassing childhood memories.
It can certainly be both. But it was in those archives that I first learned about ancient civilizations across the galaxy. The stories of lost worlds, forgotten technologies, and mysterious disappearances, they ignited a passion in me.
So that's what inspired you to become an archaeologist. Was there a particular story or artifact that really grabbed your tentacles?
Indeed there was, Felix. I stumbled upon records of the Hrakka civilization, the very ones I'm studying now on Xyloth 3. The archive contained a single image of a Hrakka artifact, a cube that seemed to defy our understanding of physics. It could alter its own molecular structure at will. I knew then that I had to discover more about this fascinating species.
A shape-shifting cube? Sounds like my old geometry teacher's worst nightmare. But jokes aside, that's truly incredible. It must have been quite a journey from curious young Zenzian to leading the excavation on Xyloth 3.
It certainly was. I had to adapt to solid environments, learn multiple languages, and even develop new archaeological techniques suitable for various alien environments. But every challenge has been worth it.
I can only imagine. Now, before we delve into your current work, I have to ask, given your unique physiology, how do you handle solid tools? I'm picturing a very frustrated Narla trying to hold a shovel with tentacles.
Oh, Felix, you wouldn't believe the number of tools I've accidentally flung across dig sites. But we've developed some nifty biotechnology. My tentacles can form temporary pseudopods, almost like fingers when needed. It took some getting used to, but now I can handle the finest brushes with precision.
Incredible! Sounds like you've really gotten a grip on things, but in all seriousness, your dedication is truly admirable. It's clear that your childhood fascination has evolved into a passion that's advancing our understanding of galactic history.
Thank you, Felix. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm excited to share more about our discoveries on Xyloth 3.
And we're all ears, or whatever the appropriate sensory organ is for our diverse listener base. Stay tuned, space fans, because after the break, we'll be digging deep into the mysteries of the Hrakka civilization. Don't touch that dial or neural interface or psychic receiver. We'll be right back. Welcome back, time hoppers and relic chasers. We're continuing our dig into the life of Narla Bzultr, the galaxy's most tentacular archaeologist. Narla, let's unearth your career path. How does a young Zenzian get into the business of dusting off the universe's hand-me-downs?
Hand-me-downs indeed. Well, Felix, it's not as simple as falling into a pit and finding a career at the bottom. Though that did happen once.
Do tell. Was it a pit of knowledge or just a really unfortunate field trip?
It was during my time at the Galactic Institute of Xenoarchaeology. I quite literally fell into a simulated Jovian sinkhole, found my calling, and lost my lunch in one go.
Talk about a immersive education. Did they grade you on form or splash size?
Thankfully, just on survival. But our real training was even wilder. Ever tried to decipher an alien language while hanging upside down in triple gravity?
Sounds like my last attempt at reading the assembly instructions for my Fleur bookshelf from IKEA's Andromeda branch.
Close, but with more tentacle cramps. Our quantum dating techniques class was a real mind-bender, too. Imagine speed dating, but your partner might be from the past, future, or an alternate timeline.
Quantum dating. That explains why I once went on a date with myself from an alternate universe. Boy, was I a disappointment.
At least you know you're your own type, Felix. But seriously, mastering 11-dimensional math was crucial. Without it, you might end up dating an artifact to next Tuesday.
And we all know how clingy artifacts can be. Now, before you became the Queen of Zephyr 3, you must have had some other wild digs. Any Indiana Jones moments you can share? Boulder chases? Face-melting artifacts?
Oh, Felix, reality is far stranger. On Aquarian Prime, I discovered a library in a time bubble. Imagine paying overdue fees accumulating for millions of years.
Great galaxies! I hope you had your infinite improbability library card with you.
Luckily, yes, but it was Pyros 9 that really tested my tentacles. Rivers of liquid fire make for a tricky dig site.
Liquid fire? Sounds like that hot sauce from Nebula Mechs I had last week. How did you handle the heat?
With a lot of ice packs and some very, very flame-retardant underpants, Felix. But it was worth it when we uncovered evidence of a civilization that had evolved to thrive in those conditions.
I bet that put new meaning into the phrase hot seat. But seriously, as a gaseous gal, how did you deal with all these solid, fiery shenanigans? Any wardrobe malfunctions? Oh, hold that thought, Narla. It seems we're getting an unexpected transmission. Zephyr, is that you?
Felix, thank the cosmic winds I got through. I'm currently, conducting an impromptu weather report on Pyros 9. Did you know their rain is actually molten rock?
Zephyr, what in the galaxy are you doing there? We're in the middle of an interview about that very planet.
Interview? Oh, fantastic. Maybe your guest can tell me how to... Ouch! How to stop my boots from melting.
Try the ancient Pyrosian hop dance, Zephyr. It'll keep you cool. And provide great entertainment for any locals.
Hop dance? But I don't know the...
Well, folks, let's hope Zephyr's fancy footwork keeps him intact until we can send a rescue team. Now, where were we? Narla? Ah, yes, you were about to tell us about the challenges you faced as a Zenzian in these solid environments.
Oh, the stories I could tell. I had to wear a special me suit to keep all my microorganisms together. There was this one time on a high-gravity planet where I quite literally fell apart. Took my team 3 days to put me back together.
3 days? That's worse than the worst jigsaw puzzle I've ever attempted. At least they didn't lose any pieces. Did they?
Well, I did come back with an inexplicable craving for Earthling pizza.
Narla Bzultr. Part archaeologist, part jigsaw puzzle, part pizza lover. Now that's what I call a well-rounded scientist.
It's all part of the job, Felix. Though I must admit, sometimes my different parts have different career goals. My left tentacles were considering a career in interpretive dance for a while.
Now that's what I call cognitive dissonance. But jokes aside, with all these crazy adventures, what made you set your sights, all 20 of them, on Zephyr 3?
The Hrakka, Felix. Imagine finding the Swiss Army knife of ancient civilizations, but the knife can also time travel and make a mean souffle.
Great gravitons. Folks, you heard it here first. Ancient souffle recipes coming soon to a dig site near you. Stay tuned after the break for more archaeological adventures and possibly some cosmic cooking tips.
Are you tired of your boring, single-headed existence? Introducing Heads Up, the revolutionary service that adds an extra head to your body. That's right, folks. Why settle for one brain when you can have two? Our certified head grafting specialists use only the finest pre-owned noggins from across the galaxy. Impress your friends, confuse your enemies, and never lose an argument with yourself again. Side effects may include increased appetite, conflicting opinions, and the occasional existential crisis. Call now and we'll throw in a complimentary third ear. Remember, at Heads Up, we're not happy unless you're beside yourself.
Welcome back, Chrono Hoppers and Relic Raiders. We're here with Narla Bzultr, the galaxy's most gelatinous archaeologist, ready to spill the space beans on the mysterious Hrakka civilization. Narla, give us the scoop. Who were these Hrakka characters? Time-traveling jazz musicians? Interdimensional interior decorators?
Close, Felix. The Hrakka were actually a species of sentient crystals. Imagine a disco ball with an attitude and a PhD in quantum mechanics.
Sentient crystals? So they were literally rock stars.
Oh, Felix. But yes, they were quite the civilization. They communicated through light pulses and could restructure matter at will.
Restructure matter? So they were the ultimate home renovators? Don't like your planet's core, just give it a Hrakka makeover.
Essentially, our most significant find was their matter manipulator. It's like a universal remote, but for reality itself.
Huh, the ultimate couch potato tool. Honey, can you pass the snacks? Never mind. I just reconfigured the armrest into a nacho dispenser.
It's a bit more complex than that, but you're not far off. We also found their historical archives, stored in what we call light crystals.
Let me guess. The galaxy's first lava lamps?
More like the first holographic libraries. Each crystal contains millennia of knowledge, activated by specific light frequencies.
Fascinating. So, what happened to these crystalline Einsteins? Did they shatter under pressure? Get mistaken for fancy paperweights?
The million-credit question. Our leading theory is that they ascended to a higher plane of existence.
Higher plane? Did they catch an intergalactic elevator we don't know about?
More like they evolved beyond physical form. Imagine turning into a being of pure energy and thought.
Sounds like me before my morning coffee. But seriously, that's mind-blowing. Any other theories?
Well, there's the grand geode getaway theory, that they're all hiding inside a colossal geode somewhere in the universe.
Ha ha ha! Hide and seek, extreme edition. Now, you mentioned their tech was advanced. How advanced are we talking? Toasters that read your mind? Traffic lights that are actually never read?
Think bigger, Felix. They had ships that could fold space-time like origami. And don't get me started on their quantum entanglement communicators.
Quantum entanglement communicators? Is that how my mother-in-law always knows when I'm talking about her?
Not quite, but it did allow instant communication across the universe. No more, sorry, you're breaking up excuses.
Incredible. Now, for our final question before the next break. What's the most surprising similarity you found between the Hrakka and other known civilizations?
You know, despite their crystalline nature and godlike technology, we found evidence that they too had the equivalent of cat videos.
No way. Are you saying that even hyper-advanced crystal beings couldn't resist the allure of feline shenanigans?
Exactly. We uncovered what seems to be a vast archive of light-based recordings showing their pets, crystalline creatures that shape-shifted into amusing forms, doing silly things.
Well, folks, there you have it. The great unifying force in the universe isn't love or war. It's funny pet videos. Narla, thank you for this illuminating discussion. You've really made ancient history shine. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, Cosmic Chroniclers and Galactic Gossips. We're still chatting with Narla Bzultr, our favorite tentacled time detective. Narla, let's talk impact. How have your crystal-clear findings shaken up our understanding of galactic history? Did we have to rewrite all the textbooks, or just doodle in the margins?
Oh, Felix, we had to do more than doodle. We practically had to toss the old history books into a black hole. For instance, we now know that faster-than-light travel was invented 3 billion years earlier than we thought.
3 billion years? That's one heck of a clerical error. I guess someone forgot to carry the 1 billion.
Indeed. But more importantly, we've discovered that the Hrakka had diplomatic relations with over 10,000 species across multiple galaxies.
10,000 species? And here I thought organizing my family reunion was complicated. So, what's the hottest Hrakka tech that everyone's buzzing about? Anything that can fold my laundry and make it look like I actually iron.
Well, there is a matter reconfiguration device that could theoretically do that, but it might also accidentally turn your socks into sentient beings.
Sentient socks? That's all I need. More family members asking to borrow money.
But seriously, the most exciting discovery is their quantum entanglement communicator. It could revolutionize intergalactic communication.
Ooh, quantum entanglement? Is that like when I'm mentally connected to the pizza delivery guy, knowing exactly when he's at the door?
Not quite, but it would make ordering takeout from Alpha Centauri much easier.
Now that's progress. So how has the public reacted to these earth-shattering, or should I say, galaxy-shattering discoveries?
It's been a mixed bag, Felix. Some are excited about the potential advancements, while others are, well...
Let me guess. Building tinfoil hats to protect themselves from ancient alien mind control.
Close. We've had a surge in crystal-based fashion and diet fads. Eat Like a Hrakka, Think Like a Hrakka is currently the #1 bestseller in the Galactic Amazon store.
I can see the infomercials now. Are you tired of being a boring old carbon-based life form? Try our new Crystal Cleanse. Oh, wait a moment, folks. It looks like we have our first caller of the day. Let's see who's on the line. Hello, you're live on Intergalactic Insider.
Hello, Felix. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm Blurg from the methane swamps of Gorgon 5. I have a question for Dr. Bzultr about the Hrakka.
Go ahead, Blurg. What's your question?
Well, I've been thinking, if the Hrakka were so advanced, why didn't they just use their crystal powers to predict lottery numbers and become rich instead of disappearing?
That's certainly an interesting perspective, Blurg. Narla, would you like to take this one?
Well, Blurg, that's a unique question. The Hrakka were indeed advanced, but their goals were somewhat loftier than winning lotteries. Besides, when you can restructure matter at will, money becomes a bit obsolete.
Not to mention, Blurg, I'm not sure the Hrakka had lottery numbers to predict. Though if they did, I bet they'd be in at least 12 dimensions.
Oh, well, there goes my get-rich-quick scheme. Thanks anyway.
Well, folks, there you have it. The burning questions that keep our listeners up at night. Now, where were we, Narla?
I believe I was about to tell you about the new dance craze called the quantum shuffle.
How does that work?
You don't know if you're dancing or not until someone observes you.
Sounds like every school dance I've ever been to. Now, let's get diplomatic. How has your work affected relations between different alien species? Any intergalactic group hugs or cosmic cold shoulders?
Well, Felix, it's been interesting. We've seen some species form what they call crystal alliances, while others are more skeptical. The Blorgons of Nebula X9, for instance, are convinced the Hrakka were actually interdimensional pranksters.
Interdimensional pranksters. Now that would explain why I can never find matching socks in the dryer.
But on a serious note, it's opened up fascinating discussions about our place in the universe. Some species are reevaluating their entire belief systems.
Wow. Talk about an existential crisis on a galactic scale. Last question, Narla. How do you think the Hrakka would view our current intergalactic society? Would they be impressed? Or would they just face crystal?
You know, Felix, I think they'd be both amused and intrigued. Amused by our reality TV shows and intrigued by our resilience. But mostly I think they'd wonder why we haven't figured out how to turn Brussels sprouts into something edible yet.
Well, folks, there you have it. Even hyper-advanced crystal beings struggle with their vegetables. Narla, thank you for this scintillating discussion. You've really given us some food for thought. Hopefully not of the crystal variety.
It's been my pleasure, Felix. Always happy to shed some light on the subject, pun intended.
Oh, Narla, that was terrible. I love it. Now, dear listeners, we're going to take a quick break to recalibrate our quantum harmonizers and maybe grab a snack. I'm thinking crystal pop rocks. Anyone? But don't you dare touch that dial or neural interface or whatever you're using to tune in. When we come back, we'll be flipping the script in our Human Corner, where Narla gets to ask the questions about our peculiar species. And stick around for our rapid-fire round. It's guaranteed to be faster than a Hrakka starship, and possibly just as mind-bending. Stay tuned, Cosmic Companions.
Attention, sentient beings. Are you tired of those pesky memory-wiping incidents ruining your day? Introducing Forget-Me-Not, the galaxy's first and only anti-mind-wipe underwear. Our patented Cranium Cling TIM technology forms an impenetrable psychic barrier around your precious memories. Whether it's Zorgon mind melters or those embarrassing nights out on Rigel 7, your secrets stay safe where they belong, in your head. Made from 100% ethically sourced Arcturian mind moss, Forget-Me-Not underwear is comfortable, discreet, and comes in a variety of species-specific designs. Warning, side effects may include an uncontrollable urge to solve complex mathematical equations, spontaneous outbursts of your most embarrassing memories, and a slight tingling sensation in your antennae, if applicable. Forget-Me-Not, because what happens in your head should stay in your head.
Welcome back, cosmic comedians and interstellar ironists. It's time for the segment that makes even black holes chuckle. The Human Corner. Narla, you've been studying humans like they're some sort of bizarre performance art. What's the most side-splitting thing you've noticed about these walking paradoxes from Earth?
Oh, Felix, where do I start? I think the most hilarious human behavior I've observed is their anti-gravity yoga classes. They strap themselves into harnesses, float around, and call it exercise. It's like watching a bunch of confused astronauts trying to dance the Macarena in zero-G.
Hey now, it's not easy staying fit when you're busy colonizing Mars. Any human customs that have made you laugh so hard, you almost split your cellular matrix?
Well, there's this Earth craze called extreme ironing. Humans climb mountains, dive underwater, or jump out of spacecraft, all to press their clothes in ridiculous locations. Is this some sort of mating ritual to attract the most wrinkle-resistant partner?
Close. It's more like an Olympic sport for people with too much starch and too little common sense. Speaking of nonsense, any human inventions that have you in stitches?
Definitely, they're AI relationship counselors. I witnessed a human couple arguing with a holographic therapist about their love life. The AI kept suggesting they turn it off and on again for every problem.
Oh, Narla, I hope you didn't take notes for Zenzian couples therapy.
In my defense, I did try unplugging and replugging my tentacles when I had an argument with myself last week.
Now that's what I call a split personality. Okay, I have to ask, what's the most absurdly comical misunderstanding you've had with humans?
Well, there was the time I misinterpreted the human phrase photobomb. I was at a galactic peace conference, and right as the group photo was being taken, I materialized a small antimatter explosive behind the dignitaries.
Oh no! How did that go?
Let's just say the resulting photo captured some very surprised faces and one very embarrassed cloud of Zenzian microorganisms. The good news is I single-handedly invented a new hairstyle called the quantum frizz.
Oh, Narla! That's one way to make an impact on interstellar politics. One last question. Is there any human behavior you've adopted that you find unintentionally hilarious?
Actually, yes. I've become oddly fascinated with what humans call dad jokes. I've been practicing. Want to hear one?
Do I have a choice?
Why don't black holes eat spaghetti? Because they're on a no-string diet.
And on that note, folks, we'll mercifully end our human corner. Narla, thank you for these painfully funny insights into humanity.
It's been my pleasure, Felix. Humans may be weird, but you're hilarious, even if it's usually unintentional.
We'll take that as a compliment, I think. Stay tuned, listeners. Up next, we'll be subjecting Narla to our rapid-fire question round. It's going to be faster than light and possibly just as disorienting to your sense of reality. All right, space cadets and time tourists, it's time for our rapid-fire round. Narla, are you ready to have your tentacles tied in knots by our quickest, quirkiest queries?
Ready as I'll ever be, Felix. My microorganisms are vibrating with anticipation.
That's the spirit. Or should I say, spirits? All right, here we go. What's your favorite Earth food?
Pineapple pizza. It's the only Earth food that fights back when you eat it.
Controversial. What's the most bizarre artifact you've ever found?
A self-aware sock that insisted it had once been worn by the left foot of a four-legged alien emperor?
Talk about foot-and-mouth disease. If you could time travel, which civilization would you visit?
The fabled mid-21st century Earth? I want to witness the Great Tide Pod Challenge that nearly wiped out a generation?
Oh, Narla. That's not exactly our proudest moment in history. Okay, what's the strangest human expression you've heard?
It's raining cats and dogs. I spent weeks waiting for feline and canine precipitation.
Cloudy with a chance of furballs. What's your go-to dance move at intergalactic parties?
The quantum shuffle. You dance in all possible positions simultaneously.
Sounds dizzying. What's the worst pickup line you've heard in the galaxy?
Are you a black hole? Because I'm really drawn to you? It doesn't even make sense. I'm clearly gaseous.
Stellar rejection. Quick, if you were a Earth kitchen appliance, what would you be?
A blender. I already liquidize my food before consuming it.
Smooth answer. What's your favorite Earth movie genre?
Romantic comedies. I love watching humans awkwardly bump exoskeletons and exchange saliva.
Ah, that's one way to describe kissing. Last one. What Earth souvenir would you take back to Zenzia?
A snow globe. It's like a tiny, shaky universe in a bubble.
Oh, Narla, you're a galactic treasure. But speaking of shaky bubbles, it's almost time for our weather report.
Oh no. Is Zephyr stuck in another temporal tornado?
Knowing Zephyr, he's probably caught in a rain of hyper-evolved frogs on Venus or something equally absurd. But before we check in on our hapless meteorologist, Narla, any final words for our listeners?
Remember, humans, the universe is vast, weird, and wonderful, but none of it is as strange as you.
Truer words were never spoken by a colony of microorganisms. Stay tuned, folks. Up next, Zephyr will attempt to deliver our weather report without accidentally starting an interplanetary incident. Again. Well, folks, we're nearing the end of our cosmic journey for today. But not before we check in with our resident astrometeorologist, the star of stratospheric statistics, Comet Channing. Comet, what's the forecast looking like across the galaxy?
Thanks, Felix. It's been a wild fortnight in the Cosmic Climate Department. Let's start with Mars, where the red planet is experiencing what I like to call a dust devil dance party. Imagine billions of tiny rusty tornadoes doing the cha-cha across the Martian surface.
Haha! Sounds like a real red-letter day for Martian meteorologists. Any other planetary peculiarities to report?
Oh, you bet your asteroid, Felix. Venus is currently going through its centennial acid rain rave. The clouds are dropping beats and pH levels faster than you can say sulfuric shindig.
I hear the atmosphere there is pretty heavy. Metal.
Oh, Felix, that pun was acidic. Now let's check in with our field reporter, Zephyr Stardust. Zephyr, can you hear us?
Loud and clear, Comet. I'm currently in the upper atmosphere of Jupiter, riding what locals call the Great Red Spot roller coaster. It's like 1 billion Earth hurricanes had a baby, and I'm babysitting.
Zephyr, are you safe up there?
Safe? Ha ha ha! Well, I've only been thrown out of the storm 3 times so far. Thank goodness for my emergency jetpack. Make that 4 times. Whee!
While Zephyr enjoys his impromptu skydiving session, let's move on to our space weather word of the fortnight. Today's word is nebula nado. That's when a stellar nursery gets a bit too rowdy and starts spinning faster than a politician's promises. Side effects may include technicolor auroras and the inexplicable urge to knit cosmic sweaters.
Sounds like a stellar spectacle with a woolly twist. Now we have a listener question. AstroAlex42 asks, I heard that on Venus, it snows metal. Is that true, or just some heavy metal propaganda?
Fantastic question, Alex. It's absolutely true, and not just a headbanger's fantasy. On Venus, it does indeed snow metals like lead sulfide. Imagine a mosh pit where the crowd surfing is done by tiny metallic flakes. Unfortunately, experiencing it firsthand would be like trying to attend a rock concert inside a pressure cooker, while the cooker is inside a volcano.
Now that's what I call high-stakes precipitation. Speaking of high stakes, let's check back in with Zephyr. Zephyr, have you managed to land yet?
Land? Not exactly, Felix. I've somehow ended up on one of Saturn's rings. It's like the universe's largest cosmic hula hoop. The view is spectacular, but I think I'm allergic to space ice.
Achoo!
Oh no, I think I just sneezed out a new moon.
Zephyr, only you could accidentally contribute to planetary formation during a weather report. Comet, any advice for our intrepid reporter?
Well, Zephyr, I'd suggest you try to wring yourself out of that situation. In the meantime, let's move on to our listener's space weather story. Today's comes from Zenzian42, who writes, Dear Intergalactic Insider, last week I visited the resort planet of Tropicana 9, expecting sunny beaches. Instead, I got caught in a freak blizzard of banana-flavored snow cones. Is this normal?
Well, Xena, that sounds like a case of tropical brain freeze. Comet, what's your professional opinion?
Ah yes, the infamous banana blizzard of Tropicana 9. It's a rare phenomenon caused by the collision of a runaway flavor factory asteroid and a rogue ice comet. My advice? Bring a spoon next time, and maybe some chocolate sauce.
Haha. Before we wrap up, a word from our sponsor. Tired of regular old Earth weather? Try Atmosphereizer 3000. With just one spray, you can experience the methane storms of Titan or the plasma rain of WASP 76b, all from the comfort of your own home. Warning, may cause unexpected gravitational fluctuations and spontaneous alien abductions.
And that's our forecast for this fortnight, folks. Remember, whether you're facing solar flares or black hole flares, always carry an umbrella, and maybe a portable wormhole, just in case.
Words to live by, Comet. Any final thoughts, Zephyr?
Well, Felix, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I'm no longer on Saturn's rings. The bad news is I think I'm now orbiting a completely different star system. But hey, the weather here looks great for the next million years or so.
Oh, Zephyr. Folks, tune in next time when we'll probably be organizing an interstellar rescue mission. Until then, remember, in space, every day is a bad hair day. Unless you're a black hole, then it's just a bad everything day. Good night, Galaxy.